Hi guys, welcome to Q&A with Coach Rebecca. I am Coach Rebecca Smith, the founder and director of Complete Performance Coaching. We are a group of sports psychology experts and an online training facility for athletes. Okay, you guys, I am 2 weeks away from my due date. I'm about to have my second baby, and I swear this baby is taking over my brain. So apologize in advance for being all over the place today. I'm going to do the best I can. That's what we do. We roll with it, right? Okay, so even though I am going to be taking a hiatus because I'm going to be bonding with my little one, so I won't be doing one-on-ones, you can still choose one of the other 4 fabulous, phenomenal, well-educated, talented coaches. And you can always go grab a free consultation with one of them to find the best fit for you if you are preparing for competition, dealing with nerves, dealing with anxiety, or if you are already on top of your game and you just want even more of an edge over your competition, you can always go sign up for a free consult at completeperformancecoaching.com/schedule. And you will still be able to hang out with me in the Perform Happy community, because that is something that I can do in the middle of the night. I can respond to your questions. I can, between baby needs, I am going to be supporting you guys full out. Now, Coach Sarah is going to be taking over our live trainings. We have every week we do a live training in the community, and so she's taking that over. She's going to be fantastic. I'm really excited for you guys to get a chance to hang out with her if you're members. And if you're not and you want to be, you can go to performhappy.com and check it out. All right, here's our question. It comes from a swimmer. I think she's 13. And she sent me a question this week in the forums in the community. She said, I have a competition next month. Whenever I think of the competition, I'm already becoming scared, and it's like I'm crawling into a shell and not wanting to do it almost. Any advice on how to stop myself from thinking so far ahead with a negative mind? Such a good question. So I was like, oh my gosh, I gave her a response, but I was like, I got to go into this in depth live because so many people do this. I mean, and even if you're a parent, and you're not competing actively, you're thinking about your kid's competition in a month and going, oh my gosh, how is this going to go? How is this going to turn out? I'm thinking about, my big performance. I'm going to be having a baby, and I'm like, oh, how's this going to go? I got to get myself ready. And what ifs? And a lot of the figure skaters I work with are in season right now. And I just was working with one the other day who she said that she realized she has images of worst case scenario popping into her mind. So she sees herself not going for jumps. She sees herself falling. She sees herself failing. And now obviously this is not a good mental strategy, and it's not something she's doing on purpose. It's just kind of what we do, where we have these flashes of what could go wrong, seeing yourself falling, seeing yourself getting injured, seeing things going wrong, seeing the time up on the board if you're, for my swimmer, being the wrong time, seeing yourself losing, seeing yourself make mistakes. These are the things that just, whether it's in image form or word form, these are things that come up naturally, and they make us nervous because, gosh, if I'm going into a, big, important competition and I'm seeing images of myself failing, of course my brain is going to be like, abort mission, don't do it. Crawl under the covers. You don't really want to compete. Don't do it. But then there's this expectation of, well, I've been training and everybody wants me to do it. And so how do you handle it? I'm going to give you guys 10 ways to deal with it when you notice that you're ruminating or you have those negative thoughts or those what if thoughts that are just coming and continually building grooves in your brain. And that's what they're like. If you think of a record, for those of, I think kids know what records are, right? There's the little needle that goes into the record, and it has this groove, and it just stays, and it goes in that same groove over and over and over, unless you actively pick it up and move it and put it somewhere else and give it a new place to go. So I'm going to give you guys some ways to move that needle out of that negativity groove and into a good one, into one that's going to be more useful. All right, so number 1, first strategy to stopping a negative thought spiral so you can focus on your training and actually get better at your sport. Number 1 is to actually find something else to think about. And I've talked about this in a lot of different ways, but something that one of my athletes told me that she does is she thinks to herself about the recipe for chocolate chip cookies. And she imagines what you would have to do, how much you would measure out, what goes in first, how you stir it, how you know when it's ready. And she goes through all the steps. Something else that I've heard recommended is to imagine yourself at the grocery store. Now, obviously, if you're 12, you're probably not doing your own grocery shopping. But, something that's kind of mundane, like not charged negatively, but requires some concentration, that you go, okay, I'm going to start with the produce, and then I always get the broccoli first, and then I get the greens, and then I move over and I get broccoli. Well, we already got broccoli. Okay, then we go back and get carrots. And so you think through each of the things that you would do as far as something that requires concentration. So you have to remember, and another idea is, what order are the books in on my shelf? And you think about, okay, well, this one's on the far left, and then this one's next to it, and I have them in order by author or by color or by whatever. Something that requires a little concentration, but is totally neutral. That's something that you can bring your thoughts to instead, that just kind of get your mind out of the negative groove. Okay, so that's something you can try. Number 2, how to get yourself out of that negative nerve spiral before a competition is to spend time with positive people. You might notice that even if you're like showing up at practice in a good mood, had a great day, and somebody's there going, oh my gosh, we have a meet in a month. Can you believe it? It's going to be so terrible. We have not been training enough, blah, blah, blah. That is going to, plant these seeds of, am I not training enough? Oh gosh, it is in a month. Maybe I'm not ready either, which is not going to be useful. So if you walk into practice and you see, that group of people over there that tend to be the downers, and the group of people over there who tend to be the ones who just work hard and keep a smile on their face, which group are you going to pick? Pick the group that's more likely to bring you up, or at least not bring you down. It makes a huge difference. All right, number 3, I like to call seek and destroy. And this is the active practice of going, okay, what are my negative thoughts? Well, let's get them out. What are my worries? And I write them down, get them all out, or you can put them in a little note in your phone that you put down all your negative thoughts, and you keep going, okay, do I have any more I can think of, any more that I had in the last week or the last month, any that might come up. You really actively seek them out, and then you destroy them. And if you are an eco-conscious person who doesn't want to be destroying paper, then you can do it in your phone, or you can do it on your computer and drag it to the garbage can, or you can just delete it. Or I personally really love the tactile experience of crushing a ball of paper and throwing it. And you get this little release of, okay, thank you thoughts, I'm done. And I've actually recommended to a lot of swimmers to do that practice regularly as you walk into a competition. That you're pulling up in the car, you're writing down all your stuff, writing down everything negative, you crumble it up and you drop it in the garbage on your way into the meet venue, and then you walk in with a clean slate. All right, strategy number 4 for stopping that negative thought spiral is to find the silver lining. Okay, so if you're looking at, let's say the facts are you have a competition in 1 month and your times are not as fast as you'd like them to be. What is the silver lining? What is the thing that's going to make you a better person? What's going to make this a really worthwhile experience for you? Instead of going, what if this is going to be awful? I'm going to fail. I'm going to disappoint people. You go, I still have a month. I have 5 practices a week. Times 4 weeks, I have 20 experiences where I can go in and get better. You look at it instead of the glass half full, instead of the glass half empty, the glass is half full. And you go, okay, challenge time. I have a month. How fast can I get? And I always aim it at the facts instead of the judgments, because if you're just thinking, I am not ready, this is going to be awful. We don't know that unless you have a crystal ball. That is not a fact. We don't know that for sure. What do you know? Your facts are, my current time is this. This is what needs improvement. This is how many practices I have. This is what I'll focus on. Let's go make the most of it. And if it's something really scary and challenging, then you look at it and go, awesome, I have a chance to get better at this really difficult thing. This is gonna make me stronger. This is gonna make me tougher. See if you can just get totally positive about it. Okay, next one, number 5. This is really simple strategy I use kind of like all the time, but just start your day over. And people love to say, well, I had a bad day, or it was a bad balance beam day, or it was a bad backstroke day, or it was a bad jumping day, or whatever your sport is. How many of you have gone, this is a bad day? And then you just let that spiral take off. That you're like, well, I've already decided it is a bad day, so it's going to be awful. Eeyore, here we go. Well, start a new day. You know, if it's 4 p.m. on a Tuesday, then you can go, okay, new day from 4 p.m. on Tuesday to 4 p.m. on Wednesday. And this day is going to be a good day. That bad day yesterday is over. Let's start fresh. Just shifting your perspective a little bit, like, oh yeah, it doesn't have to like be midnight to midnight. And then it doesn't have to be a bad day. It could be a disappointing moment or a not so good practice where you've got a lot of room for improvement that you've identified. I know I'm like leaning on that positive side, but you kind of have to. You have to play games with yourself and go, okay, that day's over. That was horrible. That was yesterday. Now let's start a brand new day, brand new possibilities, clean slate. Let's do it. Next one, number 6, is to meditate. Okay, now this is something that I really, 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 really encourage people to do. And if you've taken my Mental Toughness Bootcamp course, I teach you a lot about the connection between meditation and focus. So this is a huge one. And here's a really simple application for this kind of negative nerves thing. If you catch yourself thinking negatively, take a second, and that's the key. If you can catch it, oh my gosh, you're gonna be fine. Most people don't even catch it, and then they're just down the toilet and they don't know why. So the second you go, oh, I'm starting to get nervous again. I'm starting to overthink this. I'm starting to get into what if, or I'm seeing those images of things going wrong. Stop and check in with your body and ask yourself, where am I feeling this sensation? Is it in your throat, your chest, your stomach? Those are kind of the main big ones. When I get anxious, it's my throat. You just check in with it and go, okay, yep, there it is. I'm feeling a sensation in my throat. And you just start to breathe into it. And what we typically do in those situations is we go, oh no, this isn't good. Make it stop, make it stop, make it stop. And then you're wrestling with it. And then the negative thoughts are like to getting their claws into your physical body, not just your mind, but now your body's affected. You're running out of energy. You feel horrible. And it just accelerates the negative spiral. So what you do instead to stop it is actually you don't try to stop it. I know, that's strange, but you go into that sensation and you go, what does that feel like? You just go at it with curiosity. You breathe and you just notice what happens. When you pay attention to it, does it get worse or does it get better? There's no right or wrong way to do it. And I know, of course, you're like, I don't want to do that if it's going to make it worse. Nobody does. Nobody's like, how can I feel worse in this moment? But if you just check in with it and go, okay, so there's some energy going on here with that thought, and you just pay attention to it and you let it be. You hang out with it with this sense of curiosity. You're not avoiding it. You're not judging it. You're just like, there it is. It will pass. And it will pass more quickly if you're not trying to get it to pass. If you're just letting it be there, you're just coexisting with it. Like, okay, I feel nervous. That's what it feels like. Breathe. And the longer that you do that, it will lift. It will completely lift. And then it will also not come back as strong next time because you're not so afraid of it, because you know you're not going to feel that way forever. Sometimes you get in those nervous, anxious, negative spaces and you're like, I'm going to feel like this forever. Well, it's not possible to feel like that forever. That's the, one good thing about it is that avoiding it doesn't make it go away. It actually makes it dig its claws into you. So if you just go into it. Then it will kind of process through and lift. Okay, number 7, which is very similar, but slightly different, is to get into your body. So that's one way to get into your body. You have 5 senses though. So any of those senses will work out great. And different people have different senses that work better for them to get kind of grounded in the moment. And if you're a more visual person, then I know athletes who need to look around and just kind of see the colors, name the colors, see what's in their environment. I've had moments where I was traveling in an airport and I was really frustrated and like big emotion. And I just started counting the tiles on the wall and I started noticing the pattern on the carpet. And just doing that kind of takes the emotion down and gets you in the moment. It's like, okay, here I am in this airport. How am I going to make the best of it? It snapped me out of the emotional thing. You can also listen to the sounds. Anytime that you can hum or put in your earbuds and listen to a song that makes you feel good, that can bring you into the moment. Essential oils are something that I don't have a whole lot of experience with personally, but I've got athletes that like to use them. You know, like smell a little lavender or have a little something that smells nice in your bag so that you can just tap into the sense of smell, which gets you out of your thinking brain and into your presence brain. And anybody who has experience with essential oils, you know, feel free to like chime in and let people know. But just taking a drink of water, you get the sense of taste. And you can feel the coolness. That's the physical feeling. So anytime that you're in panic mode and you want to just snap out of it and get into the moment, pick a sense and go with it. Number 8, have a plan for when the thought comes up. So in a couple of my courses, I talk about negativity and we like to figure out what are your common negative thoughts? What are those culprits that are always coming back? Like, I'm going to fall, I'm going to fail, I'm going to let them down, they're going to laugh at me, whatever that like core negative thought is, know your plan for it. For example, if you have a thought, you know, whatever your thought is, just decide, okay, when that thought comes up, I will ignore it. Or if I doubt myself, then I will remember the last 5 successes I've had. Or if I think about a past injury, then I'll think to the time when I finally got my skills back and was 100% back in action, like it didn't stop me. That sort of thing. So if you know what your main trigger negative thought is, have a plan so when it pops up, you know exactly what to go to. Go in and bake those cookies or whatever it is that works for you best. Number 9, I'm going to say this one might be the most important one. And this was what I had said to this swimmer in the community. You have to legalize failure. And the common thread with so many of the athletes I work with is that they are terrified to fail. They're so terrified to fail that they would rather completely bail than have the experience of trying and going full out and falling short. They'd rather set the bar low, they'd rather give up, they'd rather decide it's gonna be awful than to just risk failing. So if you legalize failure and you go into competition, you say, I am allowed to fail, I'm allowed to do awful, I'm allowed to vomit. Figure skaters, you're allowed to fall 50 times in a program. Swimmers, you are allowed to have the slowest time you've ever had. You're allowed to. You guys are like, how is that helpful? Here's the thing. If you are going into competition going, I need to be perfect, you're setting yourself up for disappointment, which puts your brain on high alert. Like risk. This is going to be a disappointment. This is going to be bad. This is going to be very bad. Instead of going, let's go and do what's in front of us and see what happens. If you make a mistake, you get to practice coming back from a mistake. If you have a poor performance, you get to practice coming back from that. And it's really just a check-in. How well are you competing? Okay, what needs work? And this leads us into number 10, our last strategy for stopping that negative nerve spiral, is to think of it like a practice. It is, because you're practicing competing. You're practicing racing, you're practicing failing, you're practicing succeeding, you're practicing helping your teammates on. You're just checking in, going, how well has my training set me up to compete? What is my thinking doing when I'm competing? What's working? What's not working? And what do I need to do at practice? That's it. I got the best advice when I first started dating my husband, because I was so nervous. I was like, I've messed up relationships before. I want to be perfect. You know, I want him to think I'm the best thing ever and never see a flaw. And a friend of mine was like, just practice, go on a practice date. And I was like, oh, well, I could do that. So I went on a practice date and it went great. And then I went on this other practice date, and then I practiced living with him, and then I practiced being engaged, and then I practiced getting married and being married, and now we're practicing parenting. Because really, you know, it's all it is. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're doing the best we can. So if you're thinking like, oh no, I don't want to do this wrong, it's just going to tense you up and give you more chances of letting yourself down. Okay, so recap. Here are our 10 strategies to get you back in your body, just letting the training happen for the next month if you've got your competition coming up. Number 1, find something else to think about that requires concentration. Number 2, stick with positive people. 3, seek and destroy. 4, find the silver lining. 5, start your day over again. 6, meditate. 7, get into your body. 8, plan for the negative thoughts. 9, legalize failure. And 10, just practice. All right, everybody. So just do your best to stay in the moment as much as you possibly can in training. One stroke at a time, one lap at a time, one day at a time, one practice at a time. That's how you become a better athlete, not by being out in the future, tripping out, missing the chance you have right now to train well. All right, so we'll see if I'm back next week. If I don't have a baby yet, I'll be back next week. Either way, I'll be back soon and taking care of you guys in the live videos and in the Perform Happy community. And if you need coaching one-on-one, go check out CompletePerformanceCoaching.com/schedule, grab a consultation with one of the amazing coaches, and get on your way to being the best possible version of yourself. Oh, and I have one little freebie download. If you are just so stressed and you need something that can help you relax, it appeals to the sense of sound. I have an audio recording of a relaxation visualization that you can download for free, CompletePerformanceCoaching.com/relax. And you guys can send questions to Rebecca@performhappy.com and we will get them answered for you. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you soon. Bye.